I want to talk about bronchioles and their structure. So to start, I'm just going to draw a diagram of the lungs. So there's your right lung, there's your left lung. Okay, that's a pretty bad drawing, but I think you guys get the idea. And your bronchioles are basically going to branch out into your lungs, and they're going to lead to your alveoli, which are going to, which we're going to talk about in the future. But they're going to branch off and get smaller and smaller. Now, these bronchioles over here that have branched off pretty far, and then these bronchioles over here, which haven't branched out at all, so they're further up, these are further down, they're going to look pretty different. And that's because these two areas require different functions. So I'm going to draw two diagrams, one for upper, one for lower. So one for bronchioles that are higher up and one for bronchioles that are further down the branches. So first let's start with upper. Okay, so let's draw, if this is our cross-section and we were to take another little piece of that, right, this is what it would look like. So there would be ciliated cells, which we talked about in the past, so we're not going to talk about it this video. And then there are going to be goblet cells as well, which we talked about also. And there's going to be a layer of smooth muscle that is going to help control airflow. And that pretty much concludes the ones that are higher up. So there's not much there. There is lots there, but we've gone over most of it. So if you want, you can go to the past video, in which we talked about the trachea, which includes these types of cells and their functions. Okay. So moving on, what would a one that is further down the chain look like? If we took a cross section and then we took a little piece of it, what would it look like? Well, it would also have ciliated epithelial cells, as well as other cells. So I'll draw them all out. One for each. Okay. So I'll start with the one on the left, and this is what we would call a club cell, also known as a Clara cell. So it's a club or Clara cell, okay? And this is going to secrete things that your bronchioles might need, specifically a protein known as CC16. And what CC16 is going to do, so CC16 will leave, right? It'll move to the membrane, and then CC16 will enter the lumen. And what CC16 does is it reduces stress and inflammation in your bronchioles. So I'll write it CC16. Your club cells also will produce surface active proteins, so lipoproteins, that will prevent the bronchiole from adhering to itself if it collapses. Yeah. I'm not going to be talking about this epithelial cell because we did this in the past video. But these are granule cells. And granule cells are going to also be present in the bronchiole wall, lower down. And the next cell, or the last cell that we're going to be talking about, is the brush cell. And they're going to be brush cells lower down, so in the bronchioles further down the chain. And it's pretty neat, but they actually have an afferent nerve that is sending signals to the brain. So it deals with giving sensory information to the brain, which is pretty neat. Okay. And something worth mentioning is that there are actually also going to be nerve endings connecting to your bronchiole wall. And that just means that your brain is controlling some of what's going on in your bronchiole wall. So just to recap, these are bronchioles further up. They consist of epithelial cells, ciliated epithelial cells, goblet cells, and smooth muscle. Back to your upper, sorry. You will also have cartilage. So yeah, so you also have cartilage present in those bronchioles for the rub. And also, lower down, you have bronchioles that have club cells, granule cells, also epithelial cells, brush cells, and brush cells can send information to your brain, and these bronchioles can also receive information from your brain. And these club cells produce CC16, which helps your bronchiole not become inflamed or become irritated. And remember that club cells also produce lipoproteins that will stop bronchioles from adhering to themselves if they collapse. That pretty much concludes bronchioles. Thank you. Bronchial structure. Thank you.